friends. I am super excited to be hosting our first virtual Passover Seder this year. I know some of us are a little bummed that we're not going to be able to go anywhere for Easter or have anybody over for the Seder, so we're going to try it this way and see how it goes. We're going to be doing it on Thursday, April 9th, and hopefully you'll be able to join us. I know that some of you have maybe never done a Passover Seder, or maybe it was so long ago that you don't remember all the things that you might need. So I'm hoping this video is helpful if you wanted to gather up all the elements so that you can participate with us. So one of the most important parts of the Passover Seder is the Seder plate. There's a lot of elements on here that have meaning. You're going to learn all about those meanings on Thursday. But the things that you're going to need are parsley, or any other sort of bitter vegetable. I like parsley because it's very dippable, and you're going to be dipping it in salt water during the Seder, so you're also going to want a cup of salt water nearby. You also have ground horseradish, so that's going to be on the Seder plate. This is charoset. It's like an apple walnut mixture. I'm going to show you in a little bit how to make that. You also want an egg, either hard-boiled or roasted. That goes on the Seder plate. Now, I do happen to have a lamb shank. A lamb shank does go on the Seder plate. It's going to be super hard for you to find a lamb shank, probably. You don't even need to try. You can grab like a stick and it can like represent the lamb shank. That's totally fine too. All right, the other big thing is the matzah. And so when you go to find your matzah, we actually ended up finding this at Walmart, right? Yeah. After going to like 4 grocery stores. If you want it to be kosher for Passover, there's a couple symbols that you look for. The U means that it's kosher, and then usually there's a P right next to it. That means it's kosher for Passover. And then you're going to put it in on a plate. I happen to have a matzah plate from Jerusalem from my grandma. That's super special, but any old plate will do, not a big deal. And then we also have a unity bag that the thing about the unity bag is it has 3 pockets in it, and each pocket is going to hold a piece of matzah. However, again, I don't expect you to have a unity bag at your house. So what I've done in the past at other times is I've just used a normal napkin, fold it into fourths, and then you have your pockets that you'll be able to fill. So that's the matzah. A couple other things on the table. We like to do the ceremonial hand washing. So I like to have a pitcher of water with a bowl that'll catch the water, and then a towel that you can dry your hand on. Another thing that's really important is the wine. We picked up kosher grape juice so that the kids could participate, and each person is going to be drinking 4 glasses of grape juice or wine during the Seder. You can either have 4 glasses for each person. Personally, for me, that's a lot of dishes to do later, so we often just have 1 glass for each person, and we fill it up 4 times during the Seder. But it is a really important part of the meal. Another thing that you're going to want to have at your table is an empty place setting for Elijah. So we always make sure that we have a chair and an extra plate and a special glass for Elijah, because that will also play in during the Seder. Just a couple other things. There will be a candle that you light during the Seder, so make sure that there's a candle. And one thing I always forget is like a match or something to light the candle with. Always forget that, right? And then lastly, just something green or fresh on the table. A lot of people use like cut flowers or maybe budding branches if you're on the East Coast and branches are blooming. I'm gonna be using my succulent because it just started bursting these beautiful pink flowers, and it makes me really happy. So I think that's everything. Did I forget anything, girls? All right, so that's it. So if you wanted to gather up these elements, if you can't find everything, it's no big deal. I mean, we're still gonna go through everything. Just do the best that you can. Supplement with whatever you have at home. It's gonna be great. So yeah, join us Thursday, April 9th for our first virtual Passover Seder. All right, so charoset is really easy to make, just a few simple ingredients. I'm not gonna make a ton because this is actually much earlier than Seder, and so it'll go bad after a couple days. So it's just apples, crushed walnuts. I like to put honey in mine because I think it holds it together nicely. I also like cinnamon in mine. And then you also use a little bit of kosher wine or grape juice to keep it from browning. Other people like other things. You can put apricots, dates, pears. Annalena likes raisins, so we're gonna be adding raisins to ours. Super simple. So you just start by peeling the apples. So I like to add a little bit of the wine right now because otherwise the apples are gonna brown pretty quickly. You can also add a little bit of cinnamon. I don't do a lot of measuring, so that's probably not gonna happen here. And then the honey. Not everybody uses honey. You don't have to use honey. If you don't have honey around, mine is also not kosher for Passover. As I mentioned before, our Passover Seder is not gonna be truly kosher. All right, the other thing is the walnuts. You can either purchase your walnuts completely crushed. Some people like them super, super crushed. I like my walnuts still a little chunky, so I buy the pieces and then I like chop them up myself. This is not it. So, about that much. Again, it's to taste. It's whatever you like. I wouldn't do them any bigger than that. You could even go much smaller. Pretty much it. You just stir it up. You can see that it still needs to be held together a little bit. I like to do this at least a day in advance because I think it kind of comes together a little bit and the flavors like meld, but then you run the risk of your daughter eating all of it, which Amelia often does because she loves charoset. All right, that's it. It's that easy.